But how are these chords created? I could do it here. That would be the same. 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 But they sound different, right? Semi-note, and you make it flat on the 7th of the scale. Kind of show you the path how to figure out to learn these chords on the guitar neck. And blues, the blues is kind of the tension between major and minor. Anyway, doing this quick lesson today on blues chords, just to kind of give you a different perspective of what, or how rather, you can make your own blues chords. It's not your own in the sense that, you know, you've invented them, but you kind of, I'm going to kind of show you the path how to figure out to learn these chords on the guitar neck. What I mean by the blues chords is this sound, the sad sound. This is an open chord A7, and the reason they're called, you know, D7, A7 is because of the flat 7 in the scale, the major scale. What that means is that when you play the major scale, you flatten. So on the guitar neck, you go from right as you look at the guitar to left, one semi fret, semi note, and that becomes a flat, and it creates this sad sound. And blues, the blues is kind of the tension between major and minor anyway. So the first chord that I've learned, and I'm pretty sure many of you have learned, is the open chords, you know, the 7 chords. So that would be a major D, and that is your flat 7 D. That would be a major E, and that's your flat 7 E. And there you have your 3 main chords of a progression of a blues in the key of A. So it would be, that's kind of a mini progression. It's not the full 12-bar blues, but just to give you the idea of what I mean. So that's fine, you know, you learn your open chords, and then you learn your barred chords, which is, that's the major A, you lift your pinky, it becomes a 7 blues chord, and then that's your D, and then one further up it will be your E. Again, that's fine. But how are these chords created? Well, the composition of a blues chord is, as I said earlier, no different from a major chord. It's just that you shift one semi-note and you make it flat on the 7th of the scale. So that's exactly, when you look at this bar chord, what you're doing there is you're lifting your pinky and you're making that 7th, this sound here. That's the 7 in the major scale. You shift it one semi-note from right to left as you look at the guitar, it becomes a sad note, and that's your major 7. So the notes that you are looking for, just put it down, pen and paper, I'll say it slowly, is the root note of any key, the 3rd of that scale, of that major scale of that root note, the 5th, and the flat 7. So for A, for the key of A, what that means is that I need an A, I need a sharp C, which is my 3rd, I need an E, and I need a G. And that's it. I can now go anywhere along the fretboard and try and place my fingers on these notes, and that will create an A7. So I could go here, that's an A7. I could do it here, that would be the same. 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 But they sound different, right? And the reason they sound different is because of the notation, because of where these notes are placed in the strings. Where, for instance, here you have your root note and your 5th note of that scale on the 2 thickest string. Here you have your fifth note on the B string, which is the second thinnest. Changes the flavor completely. And here, this chord is also an A7. However, because of the notation has changed now, the tonation of the notes, it sounds different. Same here. But you might ask, why do I need all these different shapes? Well, just add flavors to your progression. I mean, I could start playing So there, instead of making it boring, I just swap between those variations of chords. It's the same chord, just different variations, and you add some layers. Yes, it's not clean because, you know, I needed to practice. That wasn't me playing that of some progression that I've learned in the past. I literally just improvised as I was doing it, and that's why I was looking at the neck. But once you get really proficient at changing between different shapes, it's bizarre, but you just all of a sudden learn how to improvise in your jam when you jam with friends or jam with a loop pedal or something, and then you just have more fun playing the blues rather than just sticking to the same chords all the time. Anyway, I hope that has helped. But just remember, you know, it's all about learning the key notes of any root note that you need to make a blues scale, and then just finding those notes in the guitar neck. You have to do it yourself. I can show you now, but you have to do it yourself, because if you figure it out yourself, that's how you learn it faster. Yeah, you put in a bit of work to begin with, but that's how you learn it faster. And that's what I meant earlier. So if I pick a G, then just form your normal G, work out what the notes are. So work out what is so we know the root note is G. What is the sharp will be a, I'm not going to tell you because I wanted to figure out, but what is the third of the major scale? What is the fifth of the major scale? And what is the flat 7 of the major scale for a G chord, blues chords? And then take those notes, try and figure out where they are in the guitar neck, and just make different shapes yourself and see what works. And then once you're comfortable with the shape that you've created, practice it enough to be, you know, to form dexterity in your fingers to be confident with that chord, and then just shift between patterns. And that's that, okay? But yeah, please subscribe and like. I'm trying to build this channel, so it will mean a great deal to me if you did so. And leave any comments or any questions you have, anything that you would like to know. If I know it, then I'll show it to you, okay? In terms of future lessons. All right, thank you, take care, bye.